Welcome to the Mom Boss Podcast, the show where motherhood meets business and everything in between. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mom Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Bailey Gordon, and today we have two very special women who are changing the game for co-working and childcare. Please welcome to the show, Ashley and Paddy.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Thank you for being here. I'd love for you guys to just start out. Let's start with Ashley. I'd love for you to introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit more about what you have done in the past, kind of like a little resume intro.
Yeah.
And then we'll introduce Paddy and we'll talk about what you guys are doing together.
Yeah. Well, I'm Ashley. For anybody that I haven't quite met, we're still definitely getting ourselves out there. So this is a part of it. Thank you for following along. I'm a mom first, and I have a background in the corporate world where I was really fighting for, the title. I was fighting for, making over $100,000 a year. And I thought those things were really important. And I was really disappointed when I got laid off after spending 7 years doing just that and moving up the ladder, just giving my life away. And
Absolutely.
With that being said, my identity completely shifted, but I realized that I was a mom first again, and I thought, what could I do that would encapsulate that and let that be the number one thing, and everything else can just focus and orient around that, while I can build flexibility and meaning to my life, to my family's life, to other people. And it was really through the whole layoff process when I started interviewing with places that I was like, I don't feel supported. I have my son sitting here because he's only in half day care at this point because we took him from full-time to half to have a little extra money in our pocket. And I'm having my girlfriend come over with her kid just to kind of hang out while I'm in this really intense interview. I was like, oh my God, there's power in this. Here she is hyping me up going into this interview. My son is happy. He's playing over here. I'm like, this is just easy. And why are we paying other people to do this? They're perfectly content. We just give them a box and some dirt and they're fine. It was that night when I went out to dinner with some of my other girlfriends where I was like, I think this needs to happen. I know this happens, but it's not here. I don't know where I can go to find this. And it was just a moment where it was like, okay, we're just going to do it. I came home and it was midnight and I was putting together a little business plan. And I was like, okay, that's how I know this is good. Like if I can spend, I could work on this at 2 a.m, and we're on to something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's something that fires you up, doesn't feel like work.
No.
I love that. That is
immediate.
So cool.
Like just immediate.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And my son, it was just, it was really cool. It was like falling in love. Love at first sight. It was, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's your other baby.
Mm-hmm.
How old was your son when you got laid off?
He was 3.
Oh my gosh.
So I got to spend a full year, really. I mean, even still, basically, where I was just focusing on him. And, it's almost been a year, actually. Wow. It was July when I was like, okay, this thing has to happen. Yeah. And so it's almost been a full year. And to still feel like I could find that balance between working our way to where we are right now and taking the day like today, going to the state fair after this and still finding ways to weave this in is only something you can do when you can orient your business around what means the most to you.
Absolutely.
And so that's just
I love that.
we are.
Perfect.
So,
Paddy, I'd love for you to introduce yourself. Say hello to everybody. Tell us about what you do outside of SheWorks and then just talk about how you got to Washington, all that kind of fun stuff.
I'm Paddy Kay, Paddy with 2 D's. And my
Double
husband.
D?
yes, you can say it.
I'll say it again.
it.
Usually my intro is I'm Paddy with double D's, just in my name, not here.
See, like that is absolutely the tone. This is not a professional podcast. We're not in an interview. I absolutely want the double D's. I absolutely want a shimmy, 100%. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm a small business owner. I've had my own business since 2019 after I had a short stint in the corporate world and just wanted to do my own thing. My husband and I were in San Diego for 10 years in college and then stayed there for a little bit. And then we moved up here to Washington and we didn't know a single person. We just made the jump and we were like, we want this for our lives, for our future kids. We want 4 seasons. We want the outdoors. And I grossly underestimated how challenging that is because I am a very social person. I love people. And we moved here and we had nobody. I really had to build community myself first with a workout group, and I joined the chamber, and then I joined Empower, and then I got mixed into all these other female business owners. That's actually how Ashley and I met at a networking event. It's just quite magical. We've always wanted kids. My husband and I, ever since we were kids, strongly believed in wanting kids. But moving up here with 0 family means almost 0 support, and it's navigating how does that work. My husband has a corporate job. We need his insurance. There's no option. We need his insurance.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the reasons why we haven't had kids yet. We need his income and his insurance, but life is so expensive. We need 2 incomes to support support the lifestyle we want and to give the kids the life we want them to have, we had to think about, do I leave my career and my small business that I'm still working really hard to grow because I had to start all over? But that's not fair. It feels unfair. If I wanted to, then that's a great option. But I don't want to take a big gap. It doesn't make sense for my husband to leave his insurance and his steady income for my ish income, you know?
Yeah,
it's
you have to work really hard to.
Yes.
You are working, and this is no shade on steady income.
Yeah.
This is no shade, but you have to work extra hard. Like you only make money when you work.
Right.
You're not out here making money when you have vacation days.
Right.
I mean, you can set your business up to do things like that.
Yeah.
And you're working towards that, it sounds like. And it is something that you really have to plan out. And it's unexpected. Like it's something you don't expect.
Yes. And so when Ashley and I met and we were talking about all these things, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible because it's something that I need. Like, I don't know if we can afford full-time care for like one kid, let alone two kids. But if I have the flexibility of having 3 days a week for me to have focus time to get stuff done, and also coming up here and having to build a community, it's really changed my life in a way of like, I've never had so many women rooting me on and cheering me on. And I'm like, not everyone has the opportunity to have this, and not everyone is as extroverted as I am to go out. And even for someone who's extroverted, it is scary for me to step into a new space. I know there's other people like me that need community, and maybe they're a little bit more shy than I am. And like, how do we bring this to fruition so that we can help women feel supported in all aspects of life through planning for families, through having families, through menopause, perimenopause, all these things. I think that being a woman is so hard. We have all these expectations placed on us by society and by ourselves, and that we need support to get through this because we're not living in villages anymore, and that's how we used to be. And like, you're not Superwoman. You can't do it all without breaking apart somewhere. And so
I love that. You're speaking directly to it. I mean, you left a village to come to Washington, and now you have to build your own. Talk about, how did you find groups? Like, what were actions that you took? What are actions that maybe other women can take?
The first step was I joined a workout group, and I had it worked out because of the pandemic in a few years. I told my husband, I need to go to the gym to practice working out before I join this workout community. And he was like, no, you just need to join. I was like the new kid at school. I joined. I was like, hi, I'm Paddy, you know, and it really...
And I'm strong AF. Like, I've seen your lifting videos, girl.
That's where I built comfort. It's so funny because it has nothing to do with business, but it was like the first place that I had to put myself out there and just like show up. And like, one of my friends, really good friends now, but she was like, you just like came in hot, and you were like, wow. And she was like, you were like too nice. You're like, and so going there and getting comfortable being uncomfortable was really the first step. From there, I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and then I met Michelle and Taryn, like the first meeting that they ever went to, and they kind of just poached me. They're like, and I was like, I don't know. I barely knew Michelle and Taryn, but I was like, you know what? It's nice to meet like-minded people, and I've never had that in San Diego. I have friends, but not friends that had businesses. And nobody gets it unless they have a business. And then I joined there, and I just got comfortable meeting people and putting myself in uncomfortable positions, and then that's actually where Ashley and I met, and now I'm part of several networking groups, and I just love it. And it's still scary sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know people, but that's okay. That's the beauty of it, is that we meet new people and build the relationships we want to build.
And it's interesting how it's a snowball effect as well. Like, that's how we found out about Bailey, you know, with Empower. And so it's like the moment you actually just start and you enter the room, it's literal snowball effect.
I mean, and I think about this all the time. There can never be too much community. Like, personally, also, that is my journey. I also joined a gym. And I was like, I need to meet other women who are either moms or business owners. You've got to put yourself in the room, and you have to take action. If you don't, then you're just gonna sit there and be sad. But no, I love that.
I think about it like I feel like a sad person in the house by myself with just my laser.
We live in Washington, so of course we're affected by all the seasonal depression. I don't know, has this year's seasonal depression been worse than others? You know how pollen can be worse? Like, Ashley, will you talk a little bit about the name SheWorks? I mean, it seems a little bit obvious, but I just want to say, like, how did you come up with it?
Well, okay, it is a little dig towards WeWork. I will say that. And I just needed something to emulate the women aspect of it. And to be quite honest with you, I have a lot of fear about that as well, because in saying that it's SheWorks, I also don't want to discriminate by any means, because we're not. But I'm like, okay, how many people are going to be like, oh, SheWorks, excuse me, where's my spot at this table? And, you know, we're here, we're welcoming. But again, it is SheWorks. That's the basis for it.
You want to emulate, like, she and the motherhood aspect, and without just being motherhood babies.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so you came up with it right away, or did you
Yes,
work through other...
that was like one of the first things.
Yeah.
And for me, because I'm so visual, I just went on Pinterest and everything, and I just started doing all of the vision board right away, and I completely latched onto it.
Yeah.
And so doing that just on day one was so helpful. It's really just been, you know, the North Star. And when I was able to meet Paddy and I just showed all of that to her, she was like, that's my vibe. Even down to, you know, the color scheme, like the neutrality of
Paddy's a yes girl.
Oh yeah, no, she's not.
She's not.
No,
a yes girl?
no.
I am mostly a yes girl.
Girl,
Sometimes
no.
I'm
You're
not.
learning this.
Oh no, she's
no.
fantastic. No.
You're like a hype.
Oh, I'm a polite. I'm not sure.
No,
But
it's
I'm working on
fantastic.
it.
It's
Yeah.
just,
I like that.
it's important.
No, I like that. It is important not
we don't
to be
need
just
any,
a yes girl.
100%. No,
You
I
have
mean,
to.
that's why I really do love working with Paddy as well. Is just she really brings out a lot of the things that maybe I'm not thinking of,
Yeah.
and that's so important.
It really is.
And so for me too, at the very beginning, I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know I want to find that. And so actually when I went to that first event, I had it in the back of my mind that I was kind of looking. I even had a job rec that I had created. And so I was kind of talking about it with her. And it really just it just moved naturally into, no, you're not just about community and managing the member experience. Like you're joining me in this very early venture, and you need to be recognized for that because that's what it is. And it's not just my personal experience, it's the both of ours that we hopefully can speak to all kinds of women, not just moms.
Yeah.
So
Well,
she's
I
really
love
good
that.
about being like, no, okay, we can't make it so motherly focused. Like we have to think about all the
Yeah.
working women who don't really want to hear a child screaming in the background.
Yes.
So
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that is really good perspective. It's important to have people who balance you out.
Yes.
It's important to have different perspectives. If it was just two moms in the exact same place, like if you had a 4-year-old and you guys are like, oh, this is what we need.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is. It's very true. It's like you have to have, okay, I'm an aspiring mom. I'm working towards motherhood. These are the things that I want to have in place. This is what I would want as a non-mom. Like, it's hard to remember what it was like pre-motherhood because we are now in it. And what I love, Paddy, about your journey is that you're full-time Paddy Kay Designs.
Yeah.
So what I love is that you've gone full-time. Paddy Kay Designs is not your side hustle. You are building it out as your full-time job.
Yes.
It is your full-time job prior to having kids.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what happens is that women have their side hustles while they're at their steady income jobs, and they end up leaving that job to take their side hustle on full-time.
Right.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
It happened to a lot of people. Or maybe they get laid off and that's how their side hustle begins, but they have kids.
Yeah.
And they're building this dream as they have kids. And so I think that's really cool that you build your business first. And I think that that's such a testament to women who are, as the Mom Boss Meetup and the Mom Boss Podcast, like I really hope to reach aspiring moms or future moms. And so I love that you're in the group too, because somebody asked me the other day, I was on a podcast, and they said, what do you wish you would have done before you had gone full time? I said, I wish I would have gone full time before I had kids. And not because my kids have held me back, but because I'm torn between building that business and being with my family. And it causes a ton of what's the word? A pull. Like I'm constantly feeling at odds with myself and with my kids because I want to respond to that email, but my kids want me to spend quality time with them.
Yeah.
But I have to send this email, I have to send this invoice, right? And so you kind of finding that balance. And so I love that you've built that first because it is something, right? Like you want to be successful and you want to be successful for your family, and that's not a bad thing. People talk about it in bad ways sometimes.
Yeah,
and I love that you've done that first, and it's a really smart move.
From my perspective, it's great to be around women. The women in my family are incredible, but my mom's role in our culture was more of a homemaker, and she's an incredible homemaker, and that was her goal and her job. But like for me, I want to do both things, and I haven't had a lot of positive examples of that in my life, you know, and being able to see women who are doing the things that I'm doing and showing me that it's possible. Like it's really fucking hard, but it's possible. Like, you know, and it's really cool to see that I don't have to choose between one or the other, because I think a lot of people feel like they're torn. If you have 2 kiddos that are not in school yet and having to pay $5,000, that's like more than a mortgage. It's more than what you take home after taxes.
Yes.
So I get it. So I think being able to see it, and it's like, okay, Ashley's an incredible mother. The way that she parents Caleb, I see it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what I would have given to be parented that way. Like, you know, like what she's building, like, because you're building an adult, like it's going to be a full functioning adult human. It's just
building a whole ass human.
like a person who's gonna become like
he thinks he's
real
a full
person.
adult. He thinks he's an adult.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is so important. Being able to do both. I really look up to Ashley in the way that she takes care of Caleb and is like building this like emotionally I don't know,
emotionally
well adjusted human.
Yeah.
He is just, I think it's
Yeah.
just his emotional capacity is so interesting. I learned from him actually,
Yeah.
the boundaries and stuff. The other day he told me to stop talking to him while he was crying.
Oh.
It's like, okay, you go.
Yeah, like, good boundary.
Yeah, okay, you just go do your thing.
Kids are so wild. My son, also 4, just told me the other day, Mom, will you turn your listening ears on, please?
Oh my God.
And I was like, oops, sorry, bro, you must hear that a lot. 'Cause
Yes.
your ears
Oh,
are
man.
never on. I know, it's pretty funny. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, I'll listen.
Yeah.
But it was funny, I was on my phone. I'll listen to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Thank you
You're
for
actually
telling me what
right.
you need.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Great.
No, it is, I mean, it is wild. What is something, as you've built this business with Caleb, on your lap essentially, what is something that's kind of been surprising for you, both in motherhood and business?
I think just your capacity for these things. I mean, looking back maybe a couple years ago, I would have been like, that's just effing crazy. There's no way. That sounds insane. It sounds crazy to think that you could feel so strongly about something and, forego any other opportunity where maybe you were making money, for the sake of doing something that was important to you, that you knew would be a legacy for your child one day, and you were showing your son what a working woman and wife looks like. I think just the capacity for that would have been very scary. So I think even as days and months go by, I'm just like, I'm still doing it. That is kind of shocking to me because this is probably the longest I've really committed to something like this in this nature with such conviction. And I think maybe even some of my close friends and family were like, okay, like we'll see how this goes. Right. And so it feels really good to surprise them and to surprise myself, and also to be reminded every time I look at my son, like it's not that I'm taking away from your childhood. I'm actually trying to enrich your childhood. It is my job to show you that I can't give you my full attention at all times, and you're going to survive. You need to figure out how to regulate here in this moment, but this is for you. This is for me, and this is for you, and you will thank me one day because you get to see the beauty that it can create.
Yeah. Think about it. You are creating something from scratch. Yes, it's been done before, and yes, it's been done in other places, but it doesn't have a you, and it doesn't have a you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that, you kind of talk about how people think maybe you're a little crazy for doing it.
Yeah, all
right?
the time, I'm sure.
I want to talk with both of you about that because starting your own business, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's fucking
crazy.
nuts.
To say bye
I'm not making
and
shit.
no money.
Bye, I'm gonna just
And I'm a
figure it
mom.
out.
I'm a mom. Like,
we've all probably dealt with the pushback of people in our lives, very important people in our lives, who you hoped would be cheering you on, but instead it seems maybe like a little bit of like a, okay, we'll see how this goes, we'll see where this leads. How have you been able to push past that and in your mind maybe fight some imposter syndrome, maybe fight against your urge to throw the towel in, like how do you get through that negativity? And I'm going to put negativity in quotes because it's not negativity, it's fear.
Yeah, fear.
It's fear. They've never done it before. They care about you.
Yes.
That's why these feelings come up. Don't you think you should get a job as a teacher so you can make some money? Or don't you think you should get a job as a waitress to make a little bit of real money? And it's like, no, I'm good. I need to actually focus on this.
Yes.
So I'm curious. Talk to me a little bit about your experience with that. Patty, let's go ahead and go first and talk about that. Because you've gone full time prior to having kids. So I'd love to hear.
Yeah, it was just really for me, it was like what makes me happy. And like growing up the way I grew up, like my parents are Chinese immigrants. It's like you could be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, maybe a teacher, but like an engineer. Like these were the buckets that you and I actually went to school for engineering. And I was like, this makes me miserable. Like I want to make you guys proud so deeply. I want to, but also not at the sacrifice of my mental health and like my own self-judgment. When my corporate job came to an end, I was like, you know what? I started making graduation lays in high school and college. I've been crafting my whole life. It was the thoughtfulness and the meaning behind it. I was like, how do I make this something that I feel proud of every single day? Something that I'm doing, that I'm contributing, and like hindsight, like old me, like thought I was going to change the world in like a medical or engineering career, but it's like I'm changing lives in small ways. Like joy comes in different ways and it's impactful. Learning to not take advice from people that I won't be asking advice for. Because when I first started, I was asking my mom, I was like, how much do I sell this engraved cutting board? And she's like, $5. I was like, girl, I paid $20 for that cutting board. I was like, Chinese immigrant is not my target demographic.
Oh
my God. She's a bargain shopper.
Mom's not buying that.
Yeah,
Mom's
she's
not
100%
buying
not buying that. And so learning to just be okay. And then I used to get really defensive just to protect myself if somebody gave advice. And now I'm just like, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. And like, it's not business related.
I will file that somewhere
Yes,
else.
yes, exactly. Every single person in our lives told us that moving to Washington, we would regret it. Like, everyone was against it because we lived in San Diego, and they're like, it's perfect, it's beautiful. And it was like, it wasn't perfect for us. And we moved up here, and it was so scary. Nobody believed in it. They were like, oh, you're going to sell your house in San Diego and move to, like, what is Bonnie Lake, Washington? And we were so strongly for that when everyone said that, we were like, almost it
fueled.
It did. We were like, just watch us. And now my life is so much fuller than it ever has been. I have friends in San Diego, but here I have a community of people that I know if something happened, like, we would be taken care of, like, people would step in and help us. It sounds so selfish to say that because the way I grew up, you're not supposed to, but I created that. I had to go out and pick people to be my friends and nurture those friendships. And now I feel like a sense of belonging, like the most I have ever belonged in my entire life. If I let what everyone said hinder me and put that fear in my brain and we would have stayed in San Diego, I would have closed the door to this beautiful life that I have now. Like, is it perfect? No, but I'm so happy. I'm so fulfilled up here. How cool is that?
You guys have to live with it. They don't have to live. You try being hot as hell in San Diego and it's just not your vibe. Like, it's cool if it works for you.
Yes.
Absolutely. No, that's amazing. Like, that's super cool. And that's such good advice. I mean, taking advice from people who aren't in the arena, taking advice from people who don't know. You said, it sounds selfish of me to say I built this community, but it's not. It's the most, you are building this for your family, for future generations. And it only feels selfish because other people have put that into your mind. And of course, cultural beliefs and things like that. I would love for you to talk about that because I'm just a white girl from Washington. And I was just telling somebody the other day, I was like, I wish I had a little more culture. Actually, when you gave us the Chinese New Year magnets, I was like, God, I wish I had more culture. Like, I'll be watching Moana and I'll be like, cool. Culture. You know, like, just like different things like that. Will you tell people what you do? Because we did not touch on that.
Yes.
We talk about what Paddy Kay Designs does and then talk about how your culture has impacted you and your business.
So Paddy Kay Designs, I do custom curated gifts from engraved cutting boards, engraved coasters, things that are meant and created intentionally for the person you're gifting to, whether it's yourself or your loved ones or your clients. And it's a way to be like, hey, I see you. Like, this is for you. It's not a generic Target candle that I got for you. Like, this was specifically made for you. And I think the love that you feel and the person receiving it feels is so special. It really stems from my childhood. I grew up Chinese American. We don't hug, we don't say I love you. There was very little affection. All of our basic needs were covered. We had food and shelter. I love my parents, and I think they did the best they could with what they had. They came from a communist country. Like, they, you know, compared to their childhood, mine was better, but I didn't receive love the way I needed as a child. Imagine never telling your kid you love them. Imagine never hugging them, but they were just trying to survive. They were just trying to make ends meet and keep us alive, and they did that. So gifting was my way to be like, I love you. I would give something to my mom. Like, I created like a PowerPoint card in Chinese because she doesn't speak English, and I would print photos on there and give it to her the way that she would light up. I got addicted to that. It feels like
that
she loves me in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's why I started knitting and then making leis and all these things, and it's evolved that way. And also in our culture, we don't brag because we don't want other people to think that we're like high and mighty and we think we're better than other people. But also that then led to like no words of encouragement. So then it's like people were like, oh, your daughter is smart. They're like, oh no, she's not, like, she's just okay. And then that really affected my self-esteem. That's why I love what I do in my business, because it's a way I help other people, show people that they are seen, that they are thought of, that they are loved. And yeah, it's just a weird dichotomy of being like American but Chinese but not belonging in either space. And I think it gives me a really unique perspective of how important it is to like belong somewhere and feel safe and loved. And I think I found that here in Washington, and it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Love you, Mom and Dad. I mean, they're not going to watch this, but I love you. And it sounds so terrible to be like, I needed these things, and that's why, like,
it's
I'm
not terrible. Are you kidding?
Ashley,
No, it's not.
Okay.
Oh my God.
No,
When I have
These are
kids, I
basic
want to be different. Like, I
necessities.
want, there are beautiful parts of our culture,
absolutely.
two incredible, beautiful parts that I want to instill in my kids, but also it's a learning process of me unlearning the 29 years of what I've had from my family so that I don't carry that on to my kids. I still want them to have firm boundaries, because like some kiddos, I'm like, oh, you talk to your mom like that. I wouldn't talk to my mom like that. But I also want them to feel safe. I didn't tell my parents much about my life because I was so fearful. I was so scared of their judgment or their lack of understanding. And so when I become a mom, I want my kid to trust me and tell me when they're doing things that aren't maybe perfect so I can help them and support them. And it's like, how do I learn to be the mom that I want to be? And I know it'll change when I have kids, but seeing all of these incredible moms doing things differently, it's like, how do I surround myself with those people so that I can build what I want for my kids?
Absolutely. That's so powerful. I mean, when you're talking, it makes me think of that visual of a glass of mud, and then there's a glass of water, and this is your parents, and they pour into you this mud. They're bringing their experiences over onto you. And you, as the person now with a mix of mud and water, now you can pour into your kid, but now you decide to pour in water, right? Now you're pouring in a different experience so that you can kind of water out that mud and clear it out so that you can give your child a different experience. And not, I mean, you've obviously turned out wonderfully, but it doesn't mean that it felt great. Like the lack of validation, you sought that out in other ways. It's kind of interesting how you bring that back into your business and how it's like gift giving became the way that you sought validation and found love, essentially. I bet when you give a gift to somebody and they see it and they're like, just you're making it for someone else, you're engraving right there at a market or whatever. I bet when they pick it up, they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to love this. I bet it just...
Violet's eyes are just like...
And so if you ever receive or give something, like record it so she can appreciate it. She made things for my family. I went to my grandma's funeral and we had some of her handwriting and it was a Christmas card. It was right before Christmas. And so I asked if she could make her ornaments and it was beautiful. And I made a point to give them to all of our family at the end of it. And the emotion that came with it that she wasn't there to see, but to give me that gift of being able to give it to people was really beautiful.
And that's the thing I need to explain more to it. It's like it's a gift to give a meaningful gift. Like
it's not
you
just
feel so good that you're like, oh my gosh, this person that I love or care for is feeling appreciated, and you're just like,
literally, I feel it. I love that so much. What a special way, like. I think it's easy to look at someone's business and you have no idea what it stemmed from. Why did she start making gifts? Why did she start doing this? And your gifts are beautiful. I love that they're simple, but powerful. They're minimal, but also so thoughtful. Like you've put a lot of thought into the materials. And for those who maybe didn't know, Paddy helped put together the notebooks for the Mom Boss meetup. Even just in discussion with you, you're like, well, I could do these notebooks, but I don't think they're as good. And I could do these ones, but I don't think that they'll engrave like that. And you were like, no, I think that we need to do these. That's a big deal. That's very thoughtful. It's not like you were just like, oh, you know what? You want it to be more affordable for you? Let's do these ones. It's fine. You were like, no, I think we need to do these ones because it's what's best for everyone. And so it makes a difference, and everything in our lives has impacted us in some way. And so I think that yours has become a beautiful gift that you can share with other people. And I love the client gifts idea and things like that. So thank you for sharing that. I love that. I wanted to kind of talk about how you guys work together. What are you working on now with SheWorks? The people who are listening may not know that SheWorks isn't officially open yet. Or
we don't have a physical.
So let's talk about that first, and then kind of where you're going. What are some of your future ambitions?
So right now we're very much in this property assessment stage. There is one property we're very excited about and we've been working really hard to secure, but it's very challenging. And actually we found out a couple weeks ago that there's a possibility that somebody might have come in and taken it out from under us. And that's okay. It happens. It's going to be a part of the process, even if it doesn't work out. It's challenging because the space we're looking for is so unique in order for us to provide the full-time care. So it's actually creating an area where we can pivot a little bit, and it might give us the opportunity of opening sooner. If we were just to support more of a half-day model, which is why we were on Instagram last week asking if that would work for people, and we were surprised because people were like, yeah, I would prefer 4-hour minimum is fine. Like we don't need the full-time thing. So we're just having to be flexible. I had to fire a commercial agent because he was not doing his job. Like I hope you're listening to this. I'll send it to you later. No.
Thanks a lot.
So I let him go because I'm like, dude, no, we need to make moves. Like we have people behind us that are like, when is this going to be open? And you're sitting there not responding to my email. And I just hired the architect that you recommended. And you have to pay for that as well, by the way. You know, for these, you know, the poor owner of this building to be like, I thought she wasn't serious about it. Like, you just huge communication breakdown. So needing to be flexible.
That must be interesting. Did you talk to anybody who's helped you in any way?
Yes and no. my dad's girlfriend. She has experience in it. She was like, oh, I can help put an LOI together. So that was our first experience.
Yeah.
She sat on that for like a month and a half, 2 months. And I'm like, girl, I love you. You might be my dad's girlfriend forever, but where are you? I need to get this off to this property owner who happens to be a state representative for the state of Washington. Like no pressure, like, you know, like time is everything.
But then to believe in our vision, they were like, can you not do the childcare part? And we were like, no.
We had this.
That's like really
It's actually in the name.
Yes.
Like it's kind of in our timeline.
So dealing with all these, you know, it's a part of it. I don't regret going through any one of these. I mean, honestly, even having gone through this experience with this agent, I think Paddy said it best. They were invested. They didn't quite understand.
Totally.
They might have been, you know, parents themselves, but they didn't see it.
Yeah.
And we found a woman, like 2 weeks ago, and immediately she's like, this is going to be great. I could see how this is going to work in Tacoma and other places. If that's what you want, I'm like, yeah, that's the plan. So to have that support right off the bat, and she's like, here's what I think. And it was just night and day. So, and it was just trusting your gut a little bit and having community, like this one person, Amy, who's very helpful for us. She's going to be a designer in our space. She was like, I think you deserve better. I think actually you're getting kind of screwed here. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I thought it was just crazy. I thought like, this is what it was. And so it was just that, you know, that was really revealing. And so like leaning on community, even in these moments where we're learning and not being so cut off or just thinking that we know it all is the other piece, you know, or I've had some people be like, you could just find it yourself. You could find the property. And I'm like, no, there are experts that will help us. So we can negotiate tenant improvement costs so that we can negotiate, you know, on rent, all these things. I can't do that. That's not my specialty. Like I would love for some, and they're going to get a cut.
Yeah,
they're going to get a cut.
It's like, no, these people have spent, they've seen it all.
They have. She knows the market. She sold this building to the owner, this building that we were evaluating. She's like, oh, I sold that building 20 years ago. So we're like, okay, you know, so it's just leaning on the experts, not feeling like you have to do it all. And I think you gain traction that way. I probably wouldn't be where I am right now without Paddy.
Well, and having someone who thinks differently or maybe even has a different mindset. When something goes wrong, you say, well,
100%.
it opened up a different door. That wasn't the way we're supposed to go. And then maybe, you know, you notice something and you bring on a different perspective. I think that that's such good balance and that's so important to have because you guys aren't so close that you guys are like best friends from childhood. You respect each other's opinions and you're not bringing in
personal
outside stuff. You guys are just like, no, I respect you as a business owner and a human, and I know that you're going to get this done. You know enough about them to kind of help balance out the scales, essentially.
And I know that's hard to find. I was like, that's incredible.
It was like magic. It was like because she's corporate experience and has a family, and like I'm a small business owner and no like children yet. So it's like we balance each other and get to draw things out from each other that neither of us thought this way, and it's cool. And then from there we bounce ideas back and forth, and it's just so cool.
Well, I've voice memoed with you, and I know that we can get on a roll, and we're not even building a business together.
See, I don't like the voice memos, by the way, guys.
What?
Like,
You're not a voice memo girly?
No,
because you
I
want it
don't
to be written down.
Probably, I still might forget
bullet
a detail
points.
or call.
I also do like a
because they disappear.
They do disappear.
You have to make sure to save them.
Yeah, on Instagram they don't.
Okay,
on your phone you can keep them.
Yeah.
We'll show you after.
Thank you.
I'm a geriatric millennial, but I know some things.
She's always teaching me.
Yeah.
But I will say the space is everything, you know, finding a way to pivot so that we could be open sooner is something we are absolutely considering. We were just talking about it last night. Nothing is off the table with this first space that we were really excited about. And that comes from just fighting like hell. And I told her, I was like, no, I'm sorry. They're going to have to pry this property away from me. Like, good luck, you know. So there's that
Chain
piece.
Yourself to
Yeah, we're already there.
Ashley?
I drove by there last night.
She's attached to the door right now. So
Sorry.
Bring her some food.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But the other piece is just starting with building community right now. Like we had our first event. You were there. Thank you for your support. And that was really, I think, pivotal because for me, I was like, oh, when can we say we're doing it and stuff? Can we just do it now without needing the space to say that we're... And so doing that, we have our event with you May 18th. It's the weekend after Mother's Day. So we'll be able to get moms together and other women that just want to celebrate moms.
Mother's Day brunch.
We'll be at Atelier in Tacoma, and it's from 11 to 2. So I'm excited that we get to do that. It's about bringing people together. We don't need the physical space right now. I want to continue to do that. I also want to get to a place where you can call somebody in that community. You don't have to wait to go to one of these monthly events. The more I talk to people individually, they're like, yeah, I'm a single Mom, I have this resource. How do you, I don't know. It's just, it's all percolating.
Share knowledge. And like part of our space, like the co-working side is how do we have workshops that are geared towards all women in all different parts of life? For me, I have PCOS. It would be great to find women who have, who like are going through fertility things, because that was like a really big stressor for me. And it's like, well, how about when you're going through menopause and you feel crazy, or you don't know that perimenopause is a thing and it lasts for many years, and it's not just like, oh, overnight.
Like in your mid-30s,
and like if you're a small business owner, if you're a new small business owner, how do we get all these different workshops to support you at different phases of life? Because there's something to be said to be talking to someone who's going through the same thing that you're going through. You
Or have been there.
Like been there, to feel so seen and
something.
understood and like given advice that might actually be helpful. And if you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, like we want to have stuff for that too, because right now it seems like most networking and community is like almost towards only to small business owners, so that's not the path for everyone. And like how do we support you in all these different ways? And like we're just getting really excited about all the possibilities.
There's like too many ideas.
Too many ideas.
I'm sitting over here and I have so many I want to just blurt out. It's amazing because you're right. Like there are women who are working from home for their corporate job or for like something, and they just need to get some space outside of their home. They just need to leave, or maybe on like for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays I have my kids at home, but I need to answer emails still. It's not like my job just ends. So I like having just a couple hours to get out of the house where they can be entertained. It's not their home where they're gonna make it a mess. Like I just cleaned these 2 rooms in my house, and I'm like, oh gosh, kids, go downstairs. Do not mess
Come make
this
our
up.
space a mess. We'll clean it up.
And so it's like, oh, that's nice to be able to go somewhere, not worry about the dishes, not worry about having to clean up my space to work. Like I can just go in somewhere and maybe see a friend or two, or like, you know, or not, or I just go and get dialed in, you know. And I think that that's so vital and so important. And it's something that as the founder of the Mom Boss Meetup, it's on my list to have a place that had like childcare and co-working. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to deal with that.
It's a lot.
Y'all deal with it.
We'll do it.
So it's kind of nice because then this relationship, like meeting you guys and getting involved with you guys, is so vital, because maybe we work something out, or maybe it's like, oh, you're a Mom Boss member, you have this, or maybe we host events, or you know, like there's so many possibilities that it just feels so perfectly aligned. And it's so nice because we all have these communities. They're all different, but we've all kind of met up in the middle as well. You know, like we've got Empower and the Mom Boss and SheWorks,
and there's so many out there.
and then there's so
others,
many more. Just connecting and making the community stronger. It's so vital. And we all support each other. Like people are like, let's do a giveaway together. How about I have you at my event? Why don't you be a speaker? I think that's so awesome. It's so inspiring, right? It is, So I love what you guys are building. I think it's so amazing. It's gonna be it's gonna be big. It really is. I think it's really fun to see you have this vision. Surround yourselves with people. You said that when you saw Paddy, you guys almost locked eyes.
Yeah, we did. We locked in.
And we talked about it.
We were both late. She's rolling in late. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I like her. It's Sunday morning. She's wearing some slacks.
It's funny because I had already known people in that group, but there were some new people, and I was nervous. And I was like, do I introduce myself to her? And she's just like, look at her. She's like a babe. I was like, do I introduce myself? Hi, I'm Paddy.
We're both from California.
Cool. Lived in Bonnie Lake too.
It is.
And we were gonna meet up not for our business, just like as friends to meet up. And then she was like, hey, I need somebody to fill this role. And I was like, I actually really love people. Like, I really love people.
So what does a day-to-day look like for SheWorks?
It's hard. We're in this weird... It's this weird... And again, it's been since July of this past year. And it's interesting because sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I should be doing more right now. But you put all of this effort into business planning, and you know, we have it all, like everything, financials, the first 3 years, all these things, it's there. And what changes is, yes, the model, like going into a smaller space, you know, kind of thinking through pricing, some of those things changes, but all of the inputs are there. And so it's really great because, you know, once we're ready, like it's all there. And I'm also big on process and all those things. So I'm like, okay, in these moments where it is a little bit, you know, kind of low, like slow, calm. Yeah, like there's things I could definitely be doing right now. And, you know, but for the most part, it's just, you know, it's such big things like managing a freaking commercial agent, like, you know, reeling them in and, you know, and then thinking about insurance and all these other things. So there's this ebb and flow to it. And then finding time to meet like with one of our state senators, like team members, you know, on a Tuesday, and then go look at a property like an hour later. It's just kind of crazy. You have these moments where it's super a lot, and then it's like, oh, okay, we can grieve. We have people who have passed away in the last 6 months. And to be able to have that space to just like No, I'm a human, and I actually think I need a week after this funeral to just process before I go right back into it. And I might be a little bit behind on the curve, but we get to choose that, and I respect that. It's what's going to make us feel whole when we come back to it. We can take that time, and again, that's the beauty of being a small business owner.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have had a rough,
we have
some difficult family things going on.
It's been a while,
The beauty of having a small business is it allows you to take the time to grieve, find your footing, and you guys have each other. That's pretty tough. I want you guys to talk about, is there anybody that's inspired you or encouraged you to take those steps towards owning your own business?
Well, for me personally, I don't have a lot of close family or friends that own their own business. So actually it feels very scary. But for me, I have a very strong history of women that try to do a little bit of everything. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, became a nurse, and then it just kind of crumbled from underneath her. Her mom was a social worker for 40 years, and she resented her mom for working. And my grandma was just doing everything she could to provide for her 2 kids. And she's like, how do you resent me? How do you hate me for just doing the one thing I needed to do for survival? And then I have my other grandmother who, she was the first person I messaged when I found out I was pregnant and I had just been promoted. I was like, how the fuck can I do this? Is this possible? I don't even want to go tell my boss, like this dude who's a dad and doesn't quite understand what it means to be a mom, who has just been promoted, all of a sudden might need a little extra. Like, you can't pull one over on me anymore. And, just having that support, like just those examples for me and wanting to feel that I can make them proud and also feel like I'm actually creating something that they could have benefited from. It's like putting the small business owner aside. It's just creating purpose that I think they would all find beautiful and is something that inspires me. And then meeting wonderful people like the both of you, where it's just, all that matters is the why. The how is to be determined and it can change, but your why should stay the same. And if it doesn't, you need to focus on something else. You need to dig a little bit.
But your why is what drives you. Their experiences drive your why. Like you wish you could have built this for them to support them. So that it could have changed their relationship.
My mom,
the way that they viewed each
exactly.
other.
And my mom, she fucking hated her mom, and I'm like, I hated my mom as a result of that. Actually, just the trickle effect of that was so toxic.
It's generational
trauma, and it was all around a woman needing to work. Like, how fucking sad is that? Actually,
that is so sad. That's wild. Isn't it so crazy how it opens your eyes to like, oh my gosh, I wish my mom had this. I wish my grandma had this. And so you're building this for them. It's sad and beautiful at the same time. It's like, wow, you deserved this. You deserved to be happy. How lucky are we that we get to live in this generation and this time frame?
Exactly.
Like, because it really affects the way that your grandmother and your mom and you, like the way that you guys all got along. Is this solving that? Maybe. But it's like, you get to do that now. And you get to change the narrative moving forward. And it's really amazing. And it's so hard. But that's really beautiful. I mean, you're right. The why, like, you really have to stand firm in that. And so I love that.
And actually something that was really cool that I don't think I talk about enough is when my mom left my dad. She was an addict and needed somewhere to go in that transition. And she actually went to this, it was called House on the Hill, and it was this rehab facility for women and children. And that's where I met my best friend. She's still one of my best friends today. Like, we lived there. We were 1 year old with our moms. And so just thinking about how even since day one for me, that's been a part of my identity. I remember that place. I remember living there as a 1 year old. I remember how safe it was. I remember that transition from, just the toxic home that I was in to just this like solitude of being around other moms and little ones like me. And so, like, in a lot of ways, I need to go back there and be like, can I partner with you? Can I give back to you? Because you have given back to me. My best friend, again, like, they actually set our moms up for... Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, 1,000%. Yeah, we're still...
Wow.
And that was just House on the Hill. And that was just one institution, one nonprofit that was there to support women, mothers in transition and their children. We were living there. Otherwise, where would we have gone?
Right.
Unbelievable. That's the power of it, really.
It's the power of somebody who has a passion for taking care of women and kids, and they built this. That's what you guys are doing. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's different, but it's the same. You're building the community that you need. There's a need for it. You need it. I need it. You're going to need it.
I'm going to need it,
but it's like the place that you so badly want and need, you're building it. You found a hole in society, and you are filling it, and you're like, okay, I need to find Paddy, and you find Paddy, and then you two are building this, and you're like, we need to find a new commercial real estate. And
we need a property right now.
It's like you're putting it all out there and doing the scary thing. You should be so proud of what you guys are doing. It is a big deal, you know? Like
It is.
creating the community. When I showed up to your guys' first event, I was like, holy shit!
Really?
There's a lot of people here.
Oh,
like,
good.
You know, it was like,
Yeah.
wow. It is so clearly needed. Like you guys are working to build something out of nothing. And it's like, wow, how special. So thank goodness you've been put into these positions. Your past, your upbringings, everything that you've done has led you to this moment. How cool is that? Like,
pretty cool.
has led you to meeting here, like moving from different
That's so
states to Bonnie Lake of all places.
I know.
Like,
Good God, yeah.
How
What were we
crazy.
thinking?
And then now you guys are building this thing that's going to change the face of working for women and men. It's going to change things for people, you know. And I mean, it's very, it's very cool. I'm excited to see how you guys capitalize on this. Yeah.
No pressure. Like
No pressure. No pressure. This is super cool.
we're still waiting on some funding,
Handle
but
with
like
care. Handle with care. I usually ask people what you think your superpower is. I would like to have you guys say what each other's superpower is.
oh my gosh. Okay, wow.
I'll give you a moment to think about it. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I'd love to know what you think the other's superpower is.
I think I know what yours is already.
Okay, Ashley, you go first.
I think for Paddy, like she knows how to it's not cut deep, but you know how to just dig into somebody's soul. And you obviously, and so as a result of that, you do your gift giving. But I feel like you see people, like you see their hearts, and I think you emulate people's hearts. You do. I feel like you see, and it's just beautiful because you meet people where they're at, and they gravitate towards you. You look at somebody and make them smile with your intro and all these things. And
Paddy,
I was like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. She's so sweet.
Totally. I love it. She throws an F-bomb in there. I'm like, oh, I
yes,
love this,
me
Paddy.
too. I'm like, okay, I like this.
I like this for us. Oh my gosh, that's really beautiful. It is true.
You are the heart of the community, girl.
Yeah.
You are the face.
Community builder, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Super
That's
good.
her.
Superpower.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, Paddy's over there like, I'm not allowed to accept these kind words.
I know. That's also what makes you fantastic. Just being so humble. That's also a superpower.
Are your
my
insides like,
my insides are just like,
yeah.
That's my gift to you.
Oh, thank you. I feel like there's so much to be said about Ashley. I can't even put it into words. She is so compassionate, kind, and gentle. Her spirit is just easy to be with. And I think I've said earlier, but like the way she treats all of the people around her, she's so kind. Like especially to her son. Like the way I was raised was like being yelled at and like not ever being allowed to process my own feelings, and like just seeing her have so much compassion to her son and like let him feel the things. Like he's gonna be an emotionally regulated human. And
what is that like?
I don't know what that's
I
like.
hope so.
And like her heart and her compassion, it's like, yes, I'm like working for her or with her, but it's like when I needed time, like my life has been a shit show this last year. Her just allowing me to have space to grieve, or whenever I'm sick or something. I've never had an experience where I'm working with someone where they're like, too bad, someone died, too bad. You get one day of bereavement, and like, I don't know, she's just like this steady presence to my little bit more volatile. I feel so lucky that we found each other, and I think she's one of my closest friends now. We talk about business, but all the other things about womanhood too, and it's just so wonderful to have someone who is like, we're walking different journeys right now, but also side by side.
Yeah.
And our paths are crisscrossing. It's just so special. Like I can't thank the universe enough that our paths are crossing.
And you feel seen by Ashley.
Yes,
vice versa.
Validated.
And vice versa.
It's like the little things, like text messages where I was gone in Canada for a funeral, and she just pops in and she's like, hey, I'm just thinking about you, no need to respond. It's all of those little things that are so thoughtful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
I'm just gonna cry. Thank you, Bailey. God.
That's so adorable. I think that we should do that every day.
We should, yes.
In fact,
with our husbands. I haven't gotten that from my husband. That's
like
the
a
power
spouse.
of women.
Yes.
I mean,
We hype
I
each
can't
other
get that.
up when we feel safe. Because I think
Yes.
we're brought up, society tells us that we are against each other.
Yes.
And you find communities like this, and it's like, no. Together, we're rising.
Like you have to build each other.
Yes, you build each other.
Because I say this sometimes in my newsletter. When one woman succeeds, we all succeed.
It's not a threat.
Exactly.
But we're taught, like our gut reaction is like,
That
another
girl is
photographer?
gonna- yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
And growing up, as I've built this business, I didn't have photographer friends until about 3 years ago. I've been a photographer for 15 years.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm.
I didn't have I had some friends who were photographers, but I never met people because they were photographers. And so it is like, and as a mom, so I'm gonna just very briefly tell you guys like why, but like as a mom in 2020, when the pandemic happened, I had 4-month-old twins.
Oh my god! And then you found out you're pregnant.
And then I thought I was pregnant with my son in late 2020. So then it's like this crazy, and then I just felt so deeply sad. Like we had the pandemic. I had moved out of the city where all my friends were, and I was all my friends were doing different things. We were all in different places, and I just felt so alone. And so in 2023, I had started therapy, and she's like, why don't you get into community? You need community. You're craving community.
Yeah.
That is essential to you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I just need community. I'd love to know what brought you guys to the Mom Boss Meetup. What was it that you were like, I want to be a part of that community? You're building your own community. You're in other communities. I'm curious what brought you to our meetups or this community overall.
Well, for me, it was actually Empower. I was at one of their events, and it was Taryn. She was talking to me personally, and she was like, okay, you should meet Bailey. Then, going to one of your events, I was just like, this is great. And I think it's also about showing up for each other. I know I shared last time we spoke where there's days where, for me, I'm a little bit more of an introvert, and so I do have to push myself out of my comfort zone. But to know that what's at the end of it is being able to have a conversation with somebody at an event where you can actually let your guard down. You're not going to find judgment is what I feel when I go to your events. It's just all the energy. The different events is so different. Like we were talking about that last night. We were like, it's a party at the Mom Boss.
Well, it's funny because like that was kind of an accident. The last couple months have been just parties.
That's okay. It's not an accident.
But it's kind of like, okay, we've needed parties, right?
Yeah.
Our seasonal depression has needed the party. And then Paddy, what brought you? I know that you thought you couldn't come for a long time.
So I had been seeing people post about it. I know Ashley had talked about it. She spoke once or twice about SheWorks, and those days just didn't work out for me and my schedule. And then I was like, I want to join, but I'm not a mom. But it's called Mom Boss. So in my head, it's only for moms. Yeah. And then I think it was also Taryn posted about it, and I was like, one day I'll be a mom and I can come. She was like, no, bitch, you can come now. And I was like, well, I didn't know.
That was such a Taryn thing.
Yes, she was like, no, you dummy, come next time. And I was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I've been twice. It's just so cool to see. I love that you were like aspiring moms, because let's be real, people aren't real about motherhood. Like my husband and I, we want it. We want to be parents so bad, but everyone like now is pressuring us, and it's like, oh, it's all great. And I know there's so many aspects of it being great, but I also want to be prepared because I want to parent differently than my parents parented. But I only know what I know from my parents and my upbringing.
That's your blueprint.
Yes, that's my blueprint. And it's so cool to see all these moms doing things differently and having, now there's so many different parenting styles too. Some things work for other people, and like I don't know if I could ever be as gentle as Ashley. I don't think so. I think I have a little like in me, you know.
I do too. I do too.
It's so cool to join and talk to people. I was a little nervous because they're like, "Do you have kids?" I'm like,
yeah. I think that's one of the things I wish, and we, like even saying like SheWorks, like it's like, well, everybody's welcome, but it's like, I want it, but it's geared towards moms. I want people to come who feel comfortable in the space. I don't do this to alienate other women.
Get that.
But there are groups for women. There are groups specifically for women entrepreneurs. Yeah. Right? And it's like, that is their thing. I am gearing towards moms. I wasn't an entrepreneur before becoming a mom. I was, but it was a side hustle. I built my business because I was a mom. My experience is that I am a mother first, who then just happens to have a business to support my family. But I'm trying to balance it all. Who gets that? No one. My friends who are business owners only don't get it yet. And my friends who are moms only don't get it yet. But if they run their own business, they do. If they're like, oh yeah, I know what it's like. I have a friend who, has taken kids on showings because she's had to go and do a showing and she had to bring her kids on her back in a carrier. Or like,
here's that carrier, by the way, if you need a link to it.
Oh, like, yes, here's the carrier that I loved. Or like, and then like, I've done that. I've had to take McLean. We had a medical appointment in Seattle and I had a photo shoot in Seattle. I asked them, you guys mind if I brought my son? I'll just wear him on my back. I wore him on my back the whole time. Not everybody understands that. And that was where the Mom Boss was born. Like, anybody is welcome. So I just want you to, I want you to know you're welcome.
I think it's great because I was telling Ashley on the way here that most people, because they want Gabe and I to have kids now, only tell us the good things, but there are really hard parts of parenthood. To be honest, I'm going to experience it anyways, and it'd be nice to actually hear these things up front or things you wish you would have done so that you can better equip. If we're just basing life on our knowledge, we're never going to know anything.
Yeah.
And when we leverage other people's knowledge and experience, that helps you grow and learn and maybe not make the same mistakes you did. We'll make different mistakes, but it's like, why don't we...
And it won't be perfect. My softball coach used to say, pre-pitch preparation prevents piss poor performance. Before you have kids, how can you prepare? And then it prevents piss poor performance. I didn't prepare at all. I'm 0% prepared. 0%.
Still not.
I was just like, oh, cool, let's have kids. Okay, cool, we're having twins right off the bat. Sweet. Not aggressive at all. And then, let's have a third 18 months later. But it is very much something where I appreciate that about you, because I am listening to a book today, Siblings Without Rivalry. And I'm listening to this book, or my friend recommended a book like Your 4-Year-Old, and it just talks about your 4-year-old and what they need, their needs and their wants, and why they are the way they are. Fucking psychopaths. But it's and that's something you probably don't hear a lot about. It's like how you hear about the terrible twos. No one talks about the fucking fours. I never heard anybody talk about this. Three natures.
Makes sense.
You just don't know until you're in it, and then having those women in your life to talk to about it.
And there's so many other things too.
Yeah.
Like we were talking in the car, like relationships. I love my husband so much. We've been together for 14 years, and what we have now is so special. I know that's gonna change, and I have fears and anxieties about how those things shift and change. But it's nice to hear, like, it gets really hard because now you have like this other person in between you. But then there's also really sweet, tender moments that are things that you connect over that you never had prior to having kids. It's so cool to hear this. Some things make me a little bit scared, but other things bring me reassurance. We might not have everything figured out, but we will. We'll figure it out in our own way, and
You're a
it'll
team.
be okay.
You become a different kind of team. Your team changes, and it gets weird. Like you're like, wow, we're like, hey roommate, nice to see you again. I'll sleep in your room again one day because you're going in to sleep with the kids. You know, it's just like it tests your everything. It tests everything. Parenthood tests your patience, your capacity for anything.
Change in the first 6 months even. You change the moment they come out of your body. You are not the same person you were 2 years before.
It's
completely
wild.
rewires everything.
And so it is, if you have any questions, you know that we're all here. I really appreciate the openness you guys have shared with us today. I want to talk about some more fun questions. Okay. What is the last book you guys read? I'm not a book reader, but I'm very interested. I like to have a list of books to read. I never read them. I just absorb them through osmosis. Like I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good book. Never reading it, but go ahead. Is there anything you've read to?
A child's book?
Like you're like Good Night Moo, Chicka Boo Boo.
Go Dog Go, A Little Blue Truck.
Obviously. Okay, well that works for you.
I read a lot of books. They're all like cheesy romance novels. I call them like my old grandma romance novels. They just make me happy. They're always like happily ever. I can't tell you the names of the titles. I just don't remember, but I remember the storylines because I can read like a romance novel like a night. I like stay up. And, like,
are these sexy romance novels?
Some of them I don't like.
You
too
said
spicy.
cheesy.
They're mostly cheesy. They're like fireman, cowboy, or like
wow.
It's because in high school, my one friend, her grandma would read them, and then bring them to school. My parents weren't reading romance novels, but they just make me happy. They have a little bit of issues, but then like they work through.
They work through. Oh my gosh! Okay,
but I also do a lot of self-help books, so it's like the dichotomy. The one I'm listening to right now, I can't remember the title, but my friend Holly, who's a mom, it's about the Z technique. It's about like, meditation and how to calm yourself down and self-regulate. I don't know how to do that. Either I avoid my emotions completely, or I like
completely
blow
break
up.
Down.
Completely break down. I started listening to it, but then it was a little too calm, and I was like, I need to do it. I do it while I walk, because then I'm like, okay, I'm processing, listening.
Smart. But I like that. Okay.
I'll let you know if it works. It's supposed to be a quick meditation every day to help you. Because I think of meditation, I'm like, 30 minutes, I can't do that. But it's supposed to be like 15 minutes twice a day to recalibrate your brain and calm you down so that you can be more efficient.
Actually, I will say the pivot year is something I've been reading for the last year. It's usually like a journal prompt of some sort. Everything is just, it's all about transition. I think that has actually been really cool for just this stage in my life, is because it's all just interpersonal at this point. Like you really are the only person that's going to get you to that next, schedule that call or whatever. So
you have to be motivated.
It's very grounding.
It has to come from within. No one is out making you. Even Paddy. She might hold you accountable.
Exactly.
But she's not the one who's intrinsically motivating you. That's an external factor. You have to do it. That is such a good reminder.
So I'm not considering reading a book. Maybe that's why I didn't
love
respond.
it.
It's just a daily practice.
That's super cool. A daily practice. I love it. I want people to take things away from this podcast, and so stuff like that. Like
pivot year.
The pivot year.
It's hard to get.
Method.
called the Z technique, but the name of the book is not that.
Okay, I'll have to figure it out. I'll put it in the show notes. I think that's the pivot year. That's super cool. I like that idea. I'm curious, what made you go full time with Paddy Kay Designs?
Crazy, because I was working for a personal training business. I was like, basically they're like community manager and like team coordinator and like the people person. I knew all of our clients and talked to them, and everyone felt good when they came in. That ended up not working out, but somebody that worked there, that was a personal trainer, he saw me making lays one day. He was like, you can sell those on Etsy and make a lot of money. I was like, this guy, he was like a lawyer. Like, his name was Chris Mukherjee. He was like, this is awesome. You can do it. And that was months prior to that. And actually my boss at the time heard that and was like, why are you trying to poach her? Like trying to tell her to do something else instead of this. And then when things weren't working out, I was over dedicating my time. And then when I scaled back, they were like, why are you underperforming? And I was like, because I was giving you 150%. And now you're getting my 100%. And they just were not happy about that. I can't be in a place where you're not even paying me that much for me to do all of these things. I didn't have the degrees for marketing and communications, but I was like, but I'm valuable. But I'm valuable. I started doing like crocheting too. And I was like, I love doing these things. It makes me so happy because when people leave me a review or message me and it's like, my son like hates everything, but like loved this graduation lei that I got him for college, and it hangs in his apartment to this day. And it's like, how do I build this and make this my business? And it was really hard. It's really hard being a product-based business because products are very seasonal. Like it is true. It's not just like a made-up fact. And then I got into laser engraving for my own wedding because I was like, I want Chinese things, but like I can't find them online.
Yeah,
like,
and you want them to be the way you want them to be.
Yeah, and I wanted to be my last name or like this, and I made all that stuff for my wedding, and I was like, why can't I continue doing this? It's really cool, and I'm lucky that it's worked out. But
and it's so unique. It feels very unique, which is also your advantage. You truly can't go to Target and find that. I mean, you can go to some of these, fairs and stuff, and people try to do it. But your art is also, it's all very different. It's like finding a photographer.
There could be two engravers at the same market.
It's totally different. Yeah,
that's super cool. I like that a lot. And you primarily do markets.
I do some markets and online, but here it's all been relationship based, which is so funny because it's like I'm learning to now to see that. I'm like, oh, that's my superpower. And it's funny because my mom has that too. She's very people-y, sometimes too people-y, but like she'll remember that her one friend loves this one Chinese soup that takes 6 hours to make. Anytime my mom makes that soup, she'll deliver it to those people. She's just very intentional. It's like too intentional sometimes. Like my husband liked one dish that I didn't like, and like the next 10 times he came over for dinner, she had that dish. And my husband's like, even to this day, he's like, no more. No more bitter melon and beef. And she's like, you like? And he's like, no, not anymore. I did.
That's pretty cute. Actually, you just said, I think that's my superpower, kind of that people connection. I'm curious, do you want to say what you think your superpower is? I know that we had you guys tell each other, but it's harder almost to say it about yourself.
I feel like maybe my introspection. I do feel pretty mellow for the most part. I think that gives me a lot of space for myself to reflect on things and lead with thought versus just action. That's also something I really had to exercise in corporate world because I had all these moments where people were just assholes. And you can't lead with just over Slack or blah, blah, blah. And so it really had to master that skill. And I don't feel like it comes easy, but for some reason, maybe it was because of my upbringing where I felt like I had to be a little small and I had nothing but thoughts and my own little space. I think it can be very helpful when you need to just like lock in and
and everything she says is so intentional. For me, I'm kind of like just like knee-jerk reaction. She takes time to pause and think, and then like everything she says. Everything she says makes so much sense.
Oh God,
you should do my meditation sound.
I know.
Please.
Doesn't she have the perfect voice?
No, I do not.
Oh, you'd be so kind.
My poor son is like, no, f that lady. Like
that lady's wild. She's too crazy. Okay, I want to read you guys your birthdays.
Yay, I love this part.
Kai, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay,
when's your birthday?
August 19th.
Is that a Leo?
I am.
You are. Okay, my girls are Leos.
Yes.
Ooh! Okay. Oh, this is so good already.
I'm scared.
It's so good already. Okay, so I'll give you kind of the background. Okay. This is my great grandma's book. It's a little birthday book, and it's got every single day in here, and it's just a couple sentences. It's so insightful. It's so spot on. It was made in 1958.
Oh my God.
You have a cheerful, sunny smile and disposition. You are a fine and loyal friend. You love your family and are intensely devoted to them. You are kind-hearted, affectionate, and love to talk, but must watch your temper and moods. Oh my God!
Wow! We literally
dude.
So spot on.
Is that like
so spot on? You don't have to watch my temper and moods like friends don't have to watch that, but like Gabe and my family, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
And that's the spiciness. That's the good stuff. You have have to have a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, and
it's
that's
such a
so funny you
good.
had mentioned it, the emotional regulation
Yes.
and like stuff like that. I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Is it's like I don't have the emotional regulation.
Yes.
It's so funny. Oh my god, that was so
Yeah,
good.
that is so spot. I need to take a picture of that.
I know.
later.
Great
I know.
grandma.
I'll
Oh my
absolutely
God.
take a picture of that. That is
Wow.
I
that's
didn't even
wild.
realize, horoscope, blah, 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 has been around that long. Like people,
Oh, I know.
I know,
Oh,
probably
it is.
since like,
Oh, it's been around, I
cavemen.
think, since stars.
But yeah, right?
It's
Oh my God.
Like the cavemen are sitting there, star.
That's all they had.
Says fire, you good.
Right.
That's so that's how I would, as a caveman, read a horoscope. Oh wait,
God.
remind me your birthday.
September 9th.
September 9th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yours is a judicious mind, able to evaluate evidence and give fair judgment or estimate. You have a sharp reasoning ability, able to take in a situation at a glance and reach a swift conclusion. You have a magnetic personality, strong will, and do most of your reasoning on the intuitive level.
Oh my god. This is great.
What the heck?
Accurate.
That's
Yeah.
so good. Dude, that is so spot on.
My best friend, we have the same birthday, by the way.
Is she like that too?
No, actually.
That's interesting. It's only because I'm reading it to you.
Yeah.
I know,
Yours
for
is
sure.
like able to evaluate
Yes.
evidence and give fair judgment.
Yes.
Like she literally
Yes,
just
she
said
is
that's her
that.
superpower.
Yes. It's crazy.
Dude, I know.
What's yours? Please read yours.
Mind-blowing. Oh, mine. I'm March 2nd. I share a birthday with Mount Rainier.
Oh, cool. Wow,
Well,
that's
Mount
special.
Rainier National Park.
Oh, okay,
Okay, I was
Not
like,
the
all right,
mountain.
it's been there mountain.
Since the stars.
Hey everybody.
Yeah.
March 2nd, that's when it popped out of the ground. Okay. You are an interesting conversationalist and make a very likable companion and true friend. With your variety of talents and interests, you owe it to yourself to work hard and study constantly for self-improvement. You have an unusual imagination and a high degree of intuition.
That's great. I love that.
It's
Yeah.
pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's, so this is like my party trick. It's perfect for just taking out and putting on the go.
It's so small.
Yeah, it is small. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a series of questions.
Okay.
First response. Like
Okay.
that's it's just gonna first thing that comes to your mind. I don't even actually know what my questions are gonna be.
Oh, okay.
So like I don't even
Yeah.
know. I'm
Okay.
just gonna make them up on the spot.
Okay.
It's just like fast. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Teal.
What would you do if you were not doing what you're doing?
I'd probably just be a mom.
I'd be with people.
Something with people.
People. Yeah.
I asked that question once to Karina, and she's like, "I'd be a text person." She's a photographer. I was like, "You would? Psychopath."
It's actually really hard to become as
I
well.
know.
The schooling
I
is
know.
like,
That's what she
for
said.
what?
She's like, what if I go back to school? I was like, you're wild for that answer. That is a
Yeah.
wild answer. Okay, book or podcast?
podcast.
Romance book, but if it's learning, podcast.
Okay. Hiking like a mountain or relaxing by the pool?
Hiking for sure.
Hiking. A slow hike. Not too fast.
Yeah,
Hiking.
slow. Morning person or night owl?
It changes. Ever since becoming a mom, it's morning now.
Oh, you're a morning girl.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to be.
I'm a night owl.
Yes,
like
you
the
are.
darkest
Oh my
of
God,
the
I'm
night.
blown
Like I'm
away.
awake sometimes at 5
is
o'clock
a-
and the sun is coming out.
I'm like, okay, can't text Paddy
Yeah.
until noon.
That is hilarious. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm a night owl.
I do my best work at night, but then I'm
Love
like, I
that.
like to see people. And Gabe's like, you went to bed before.
Yeah.
I'm about to wake up. So
That's
I'm like,
hilarious. What's your favorite meal? Go-to meal, birthday meal, death row meal, whatever it is. Like, what's that thing?
You can go first.
almost always Gabe's cooking. He does this like Asian
I've seen the
sauce,
pictures.
sauteed eggplant, like Chinese eggplant, so delicious, and then like a ginger soy sauce, sliced super thin sliced beef that's sauteed with broccolini and king oyster mushrooms.
Wow.
I just had that recently, but he's so good. Yeah, that's my
Wow. Is that
That's
over?
pretty
My
cool.
mouth is watering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming over?
Yes, right? Yes, please.
Why
Like
were
for
you-
breakfast.
Next
Yeah.
podcast
Oh my
is
god.
going to be there
Yeah.
with Gabe.
Jesus.
Oh my god, I love this. Okay, Ashley, what about you?
My favorite is the salad. It's a Mediterranean salad from this Greek restaurant in San Jose. It's called Opa. And it's so, I don't know what it is. It's like basic ass ingredients, but the way they do
They add
it
a
is
little cooking
fantastic.
to it.
I try to make it here and I can't, so I have
Yeah.
to go back to San Jose to get the salad. But it's so good.
I mean, that is so specific.
Yes. Crave it.
What
Yeah.
is your favorite city to visit, or one that you'd like to visit? Does not have to be in the United States. What is like? Where's kind of a dream city?
I love Paris. Everything
Yeah.
about it. It's so inspirational.
like
You could just sit there and watch people,
Yeah.
buildings, things. It feels like a big city, but it also feels so relaxed at the
Yeah.
same time and classic. It's
Yeah.
just, oh, so
It is
nice.
really beautiful.
Just the history.
That maybe like the Amalfi Coast or Italy, where there's ruins and gelato and pastries and
Oh,
food.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
love
steps.
it.
That's the hardest part. The steps. They don't prepare you for that
Yeah.
on the coast. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did
I've
you
never
know?
been. I'd like to go.
Yeah, I haven't been.
The steps are unbelievable.
Mom boss trip?
We need a train.
Yes,
We
please,
need a
please.
train.
And don't bring a bunch of luggage. Like, they will laugh at you
Don't
as
bring a luggage.
stupid
Yes.
Americans. Like, you have to bring your
The
stuff on your
backpack,
back.
and that's it.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Carry on or checked bag?
Checked bag, please.
Checked
But my
bags.
husband doesn't like. But I just over prepare because I'm like, I
Yeah.
need cute tennis shoes. I need workout tennis shoes. I need flats. I might need heels. And like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And then
And
I
this is
try
a
to
funeral.
over-plan.
And this is a funeral
And
we're
then-
going to.
We're headed to a funeral. Why do you have cute tennis shoes and workout tennis shoes? and
Literally, we drove. I had
And a sundress
like 5 pairs
and-
of shoes, and Gabe was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "I don't know what the attire is. They didn't say for the viewing what the attire is supposed to be like."
Do I need platform
Yeah,
wedge?
I need house shoes.
Yeah,
I don't like to
same,
be barefoot anywhere. So
same.
then I have my house shoes. Trying to condense because I always overpack. Even now that I've narrowed it down,
Yeah.
it's still hard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, thank you guys so much. That was perfect.
Yeah, thank you for
and
having
It's
us.
so great to have you guys. I'm excited to partner up with you guys. May 18th,
Yes.
the Mom Boss Meetup will be partnering up with SheWorks to host a Mother's Day brunch at Atelier in Tacoma at 11 a.m. They'll be putting out some information on how to get signed up. Tell everybody where they can find you and how they can follow along and become founding members.
I think our Instagram is probably the most active. You could actually sign up to become a founding member, and you guys will be the first to sign up for our wait list, have access to childcare first, all those things.
What
Cost.
is your
Yeah.
Instagram?
Oh God, it's at SheWorks Company.
And you have a website. What's
We
the
do.
website?
It's www.sheworks-co.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we will make sure to link all that in the notes as well. And then where can people find you guys personally?
Paddy Kay Designs, so Paddy.
Double D's! Yeah.
And then Kay Designs.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Paddy.
Thank
Like,
you.
I really do
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's so wonderful having you guys a part of the Mom Boss community. Like, it's
Yeah.
so special. To
Thanks
get to
for
know
creating
these
it.
person.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
pumped. I'm a community
Yeah.
builder girly too. I'm obsessed. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back with another episode later this week. So thank you and take care. Bye.
Thank you.